Good afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. It's 2 p.m. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the Board. We have Vice Chair Commissioner Gary Edwards, Commissioner Carolina Mejia, our County Manager Ramiro Chavez, I believe Clerk of the Board, off screen, but Amy Davis. And so we're calling the meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance to be led by Commissioner Mejia.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We would also like to start today with a land acknowledgement. We would like to acknowledge the indigenous Salish peoples who have lived on and cared for the land and waterways of this county since time immemorial, and who still inhabit the area today. Specifically, the Squaxin Island, Nisqually, and Chehalis people are sovereign tribal partners. With that, I would entertain a motion regarding the proposed agenda for today's meeting.
Yes, Chair, I would move to approve the agenda for today, Tuesday, May 25th, 2021.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Motion carries. I would entertain a motion regarding board meeting minutes from May 18th.
Yes, sir, I would move to approve the board meeting minutes from May 18th, 2021.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia?
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards?
Aye.
Commissioner Menser?
Aye. Motion carries. Board meeting minutes approved from May 18th, 2021. Next is a presentation from our Public Works Department regarding the Reeder Road Bridge project completion. Let the county manager set this up for us.
Thank you, Commissioners. You will hear this afternoon a successful completion of one of the fish spear removal projects, and the board has invested on a very successful program in the last few years using real estate excise tax to start opening salmon habitat by eliminating some of the culvert restrictions that we have in our system. So Manda Alsaman is going to walk you through and provide a perspective on this particular project. Matt.
Good afternoon, Board of Commissioners, County Manager. Can I have permission to take control of the screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Can you guys see the first slide, Reeder Road Bridge at Beaver Creek? Okay, good afternoon. My name is Matt Unsman. I'm the Thurston County Traffic Engineer and Operations Manager. And today I'm pinch hitting for Scott Lindblom, who is the County Engineer, on a brief presentation of a recently completed project on Reeder Road. The Reeder Road Bridge was the last remaining structurally deficient bridge that the county had in its bridge inventory. What that simply means is it's the last bridge that has a structural component that's supporting the bridge that is in a failing condition. This portion of Reeder Road comes off of the portion of Maytown Road that extends between exit 95 with I-5 and Tilley Road at the east end. This portion of Reeder Road also provides access to hundreds of acres of of agricultural and forestry land. And that land could potentially be developed into residential and industrial land in the future. So these are some pictures of the old Reeder Road Bridge. The photograph on the left is an aerial photograph, and you see that there's a steel plate on the old bridge. And what that steel plate was doing is simply allow us to increase the carrying capacity of the bridge only high enough to accommodate light vehicle traffic, meaning only passenger cars and vehicles could go across the bridge. And that was a significant restriction because, as I mentioned before, the lands on the other side of the bridge are agricultural and forestry. So obviously the equipment to maintain those types of land uses is very heavy. So they weren't actually able to maintain their properties. The bridge itself was made from a rail car with a timber decking on it. I find this interesting. I think most other people do, is that we were actually able to look at one of the markings on the rail car, and we were able to track that rail car back to the early 20th century in Chicago. So how a rail car in Chicago at the beginning of the early 20th century ended up on Reeder Road over Beaver Creek is a question we haven't been able to answer. We do know that the bridge was installed sometime in the 70s or 80s, and the bridge simply was just, basically they just stacked some concrete rubble and scrap timber on both sides of the creek, laid the rail car and drove across it. And truthfully, it's probably worked well for the last 30 and 40 years. But the bridge, the members supporting the rail car had significantly twisted and had deteriorated, and the bridge really was at the end of its useful life. So here's a picture of our contractor actually removing the bridge. And it was kind of interesting when we were removing the bridge and we removed some of that timber decking, and we could actually see more of the bridge which was exposed and visible. We actually confirmed that our assessment to have the weight restriction before really was the correct assessment, and the bridge really did need to be replaced. However, because the bridge was in such poor condition, it did make for some easy demolition. So here's one of my favorite slides. It's the pictures of the new bridge and the old bridge side by side. The photo on the right is the new bridge, and you can see that the new bridge is reinforced concrete slabs that are welded together, that are sitting on top of a foundation that is actually supported by 14 steel piles that are actually driven 60 feet into the ground before we were able to get good ground to bear the bridge on. And 60 feet down, we actually found some of the old glacial outwash, or the recess outwash from the glaciers. So here's a side by side of the new and the old bridge. Looking at the top of the deck, you can see the old bridge on the left, the old timber bridge. Only one passenger car could cross that bridge at a time. The bridge on the right, two cars can actually pass at the same time. And the bridge on the right is also designed so that it will be able to accommodate any heavy load that comes through the Thurston County infrastructure system in the future. And that includes all of the permit loads that come through the county too. And especially since a lot of logging equipment and agricultural equipment will need to cross this bridge, the bridge can safely accommodate it from now and actually way into the future. The bridge should, its theoretical life should go beyond, this is weird to say, but the year 2100. That's more than 75 years ago. But just to give you a perspective of how much can change in 75 years, 75 years ago, Thurston County was 50,000 people. Now today we're more than 300,000. That's a 600% increase. So who knows what the other side of this bridge is going to look like in the year 2100, but we can say that this bridge will be able to support whatever does occur on the other side of that bridge. This next slide, I'm going to give Commissioner Edwards a plug. He's always on Public Works. Look for that good revenue. So I think we got some good revenue here. We used $400,000 of county road fund money to leverage $2 million of federal bridge replacement funding. And I think that's important that we minimize the use of or more efficiently use minimal amounts of road fund money to leverage much larger amounts of non-road fund money. So this project, without your support and the support of an incredibly talented, dedicated team of public works professionals, Thurston County has no structurally deficient bridges remaining. It's important to celebrate this moment, but it's equally important to determine or to keep in mind that we're not out of the woods yet. We still have 17 bridges that are older than 75 years old. We have several others where the condition is deteriorating to the point where staff is required to do more frequent bridge inspections. As you know, we're making an emergency repair on the N1 bridge on the Squally Cutoff Road. That bridge was built in 1936 and carries more than 5,000 vehicles per day. 1936 sounds like an old bridge, but we have several bridges on Old Highway 99 that carry more than 10,000 vehicles per day. A lot of those vehicles are heavy vehicles, and those bridges will be celebrating its 100-year birthday either next year or the following year. We're doing a study now on the Tilley Road Bridge south of Maytown Road, which is called the T2 Bridge. The T2 Bridge is a timber bridge that was built in 1950 and is too short to qualify for federal bridge funding. So even though when we replace the bridge, it's going to have to be a much longer bridge than what's out there due to environmental constraints such as wetlands and sizing for permitting requirements, we'll be responsible for paying for that bridge, which will likely cost several $1,000,000 using only road fund money. And I'd like to end this presentation with a quote from my boss, the infamous Scott Lindblom, the county engineer. He was the one I was going to do the presentation today, but unfortunately he wasn't able to. But the quote is, "But with every journey, it's one step at a time. Replacing the Reeder Road Bridge is our most recent and a very significant step." So if at this point, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Commissioner Mejia, anything?
I don't have any questions, just a comment of thank you for the presentation. And I mean, this is definitely a great example on, how Public Works used the funds in an appropriate manner and saved the taxpayers a lot of money and built this new bridge, and it's now safe and efficient. So that's good.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes, Matt, I'm hoping that you saved that steel that you took off the surface of the bridge over on Beaver Creek so that you can apply that to the bridge down on Tilley Road at some later date, because
I'm going to knock on wood right now.
Because I want you to know that a 75-year-old bridge isn't too old. Anyway, thank you all for what you folks do over there on a regular basis. And thanks for being concerned about the taxpayers' money. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, thanks, Matt. Good job today.
Thank you.
Good job, Matt.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go to the opportunity for the public to address the board. And the Board of County Commissioners welcomes comment from the public at our 2 p.m. Tuesday meetings, but there are guidelines governing such comments. When you're called, I'll call the first person and who's on deck. Allow time for sanitization of the podium and microphone in between speakers. When you're at the podium, introduce yourself and include the area of the county in which you reside. Address the board, not audience or staff. Silence your cell phones. We do not respond directly to public comment, but may on an as-needed basis follow up on specific items. You have 4 minutes. That time may not be donated to another speaker. We reserve the right to restrict the person's opportunity to address the board for good cause. No comments that are lewd or inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature. Please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind, comments that are commercial in nature, such as promotion of a for-profit business, or remarks about pending land use permits or other similar matters that may come before the board on appeal. Finally, all materials provided to the county, written materials, may be considered public records and subject to public release pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 4256 of RCW. With that, the first sign up is Johanna. On deck is Shelley Dilworth.
Hi, My name is Joe Hanna from East Olympia. I'm here today to talk about the loss of ag ground again. Before I start on that, I would like to say that I appreciate the fact that I see.
Hold on, no, that's not your time up. Just there you go. Okay, sorry.
I'd like to express that I appreciate the fact that I see that the reappointment of Ms. McClure to the Ag Advisory Committee is on the consent docket, and then also that the appointment of the non-farmer member, Jessica Honecker, a new person, is on the consent docket. I look forward to working with Ms. Honecker. I think, as I expressed in the email to all of you previously, I think she's going to fill a position in our non-farmer membership of the Ag Advisory Committee that we've been missing for a few years. As the Food Hub manager, she's going to bring to us some good experience, good information. It's also nice that she's has years of farming prior to her current position as the Food Hub manager. So I look forward to working with her. Now, for the loss of farm ground and ag ground in this county, again, I will say it's at catastrophic levels. I've expressed that a few weeks now to you. I'm going to say it going forward for a few weeks at least to you on Tuesday afternoons. You have recently passed items as the board related to concerns or things that you see as less than catastrophic, per your words. I think it's time that you review this issue because the loss of our ag grounds and our farm grounds in this county is catastrophic. It's, as I said previously, the last study was completed in 2017. It was 16% loss over the 5 years that they looked. Realistically, in that 4 years since then, 3-4 years since then, I bet you that number's very similar. So now you're pushing up above 20% loss in a 10-year period. The price of ag grounds in this county is unfarmable. A beginning farmer cannot come into this county and buy land for the purpose of producing agriculture products. I've been looking for 4 years. My only option is to go out of county at this point if I want to be able to pencil out farming ground. That's all I have today. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up will be Shelley Dilworth, followed by Gregory Moe.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for taking the time today and allowing me to speak with you. I would also like to say thank you for my letter that I received. I do appreciate that time was taken to review my information and to respond to me. That is something that I do appreciate a lot. And then I want to jump over and talk about public records requests. I've done several public records requests through the time that I have been dealing with the county, with our permits, with everything that's gone on out at our property off of Delphi. Not one time did I receive any documents that said anything about the zoning of my property being changed. When I did research, and from my information, there should have been at least a comp plan amendment in order to change the zoning on my property. Not once was I advised of that. Not once in the 3 or 4 times that I requested all documents be given to me that pertain to my property did I receive anything in relation to the zoning of my property being changed. This I find to be something that we need to address, and we need to address this for several reasons. First of all, you're impacting my livelihood. You're impacting what I can and cannot do and get in this community. This has severely impacted me, it's severely impacted our business, and it's severely impacted my neighbors and my community members because we were not able to offer the support and the resources that we have for our community. So I would employ that you guys please reach out, ask your records keepers to search for those documents and get those documents to me, because I will be submitting another public records request specifically for those documents. And I would like to see what was considered, how it was considered, and who was involved in the changing of my zoning in my property. This happened a year after we purchased the property. And I think I've advised you guys of that before.
You pinned it.
It's okay.
Right here.
The other thing that I would like to talk to, and it's specifically addressing my commissioner for my community, and that's Ty. I happened to come across this little information thing that he ran, his platform, that Ty Mincer ran on. And the reason I bring that up today is because it says that he wants to create a fair balance between conservation and property rights. I didn't have property rights. I wasn't allowed to show my property rights. I wasn't even given the opportunity to effectively dispute or talk about anything that happened on my property. So Ty, I would ask that if you are considering to run for this next election, that you please re-review your previous statements on running and stick to them. And please ask that your staff that are in our planning department also follow those things. Also give us the respect that we deserve as property owners in this county. That's what I have for today. Again, thank you for my time and allowing me to speak to you. Have a great day.
Up to Mr. Moe, followed by John Pettit.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Gregory Moe. I live in Northeast Thurston County. A little update on the housing market in Olympia. Since last week, we have had an increase of 15 listings, residential listings in all of Thurston County, and the number stands at 205. Since last week, we've had an increase in pending sales of 23, and the number now stands at 823. Because there were 800 last week. This doesn't tell the whole story, because in the past 7 days, there have been 97 homes in Thurston County that have closed, sold, transactions completed. It's almost 100 homes in 7 days. Okay, so having said that, the real reason, well, not the real reason, but another reason I'm here is to invite you all to our Flag Day celebration, which is on June 14th at 4 p.m. at the Lacey Flag Pavilion, which is in the Applebee's parking lot near Sears. The Thurston County Realtors and the Veterans of Foreign Wars Post 318 and the Thurston County Veterans Council have been putting on Flag Day, celebrating Flag Day since, just after the earth cooled, so it's been quite some time. We do have some good speakers. Commissioner District 1 is going to be speaking with us. We have an honor guard and all that. It's a good event, community-oriented. It's outside, lasts 20 minutes. So if you can make it at 4 o'clock on Monday, June 14th, Sears, love to see you. Bring your friends and scouts and whomever else you want. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next will be John Pettit, and that's the last of my sign-up sheet. We'll call for additional speakers after he's done.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live out in the East Olympia area. I have a few different things to talk about today, but I did watch the morning session and was pleased that it looks like the financial issues bring enough rise to make sure we step forward with due care and caution in moving forward on different potentials of dealing with county space. And I'd also heard that you as commissioners have managed to make a decision regarding a purchase of another piece of property, which will help alleviate. That gives about another 50,000 square feet of actual buildings that exist on those properties. Now, one of the things which I'm always really significant about is what the cost is for having property, whether it be this building or that building or any and every building. They have different categories of operating expenses. So in the particular case of the 50,000 square feet that you acquired today, I will throw in the part here. The state has a really nice little access point from the Office of Fiscal Management. And they actually, you have those particular buildings are kind of like warehouse space, but kind of like office space combination, some of them. And so out of that 50,000 square feet, it's estimated if it's a non-temperature warehouse space, it's going to run you about, $3.32 a square foot just for the general operating expenses, keeping in mind that's like for maintenance repair, $241 per square foot. Now, if you go into the other area, we start getting heated areas in it. The cost actually for maintenance repair goes up to about $4.50 a square foot. I'm bringing this all up because when you're considering any space, every piece of space you have, whether it's vacant or whether it's not vacant, you have to maintain it. So essentially, I'm just going to throw a number out there, somewhere between $150,000 and $200,000 a year of additional maintenance will need to be done for that facility you just made a decision to purchase. It may help alleviate some issues. Let's hope so. So that being said, now my other particular point I wanted to deal with has to do with what we call REIT 1. Okay, I understand there's a thought that you're going to have about $50 million able to borrow using REIT 1 funds as a means of source of paying. I have, through my study, kind of determined that REIT 1 doesn't supply funding for purposes of making payments on bonds. REIT 1 is for financing purposes for projects. Now, an example would be the detention sales tax fund. You're allowed to use it for fees related to financing, but you're not allowed to, make payments with the REIT fund as far as I can determine. So you might want to walk carefully on that one, see if you even have any bonding capacity with current funds available. And I put out a couple things. I'll be notifying you, but appreciate your considerations and moving forward with some of the things that you've done and the direction you've taken on a few issues. Thank you.
Okay.
Let me check the Zoom meeting for a second.
Yeah, no one else in the boardroom.
We have is Mr. Mijares on the Zoom. We'd like to provide public testimony this afternoon, sir.
No, thank you.
Yeah, please introduce yourself, where you reside in the county. You have 4 minutes.
I think he said no.
Oh, no, thank you. Jeez, sorry, I missed that one. I'm just in the
That's
roll.
okay.
I'm in the roll.
Okay.
For those members of the public who have joined us via conference call this afternoon, if you'd like to provide public testimony, please unmute yourselves, introduce your name, where you reside in the county. You have 4 minutes. None, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Then let's go on to item 2, the county manager's update.
I don't have any particular updates for you today. Thank you, sir.
Okay, consent items. The consent agenda is A through H, and I know there's been several changes since this morning. Maybe before we consider the consent agenda, County Manager, did you want to discuss the change that's been made to item
Yes, sir.
3F?
Yes. Let me just walk you through the items that you reviewed this morning, and that will be reclassifying the position from the clerk's office. You review the establishment of the temporary position in the commissioner's office. You review the changes on the job classifications, some positions in the sheriff's office. You review and you added to the agenda the appointment to the Agricultural Committee to appoint Ms. Jessica Honecker, and that will be from June 1st, 2021 to June 1st, 2023. You also added the reappointment of Ms. Jakita McClure to the Agricultural Advisory Committee, and his reappointment as a non-farmer, and her reappointment will be from February 26, 2021 to February 16, 2023. You also added the appointment of Ms. Tamara Hayes to the Historic Commission as a District 1 member from the term of May 31st, 2021 and May 31st, 2025. You discussed this particular appointment as a District 3, I believe, but it's no vacancies on District 3. The only vacancy is District 1, and based on conversation the board had this morning, I believe that is the proposal before you. And also the next reappointment you discussed this morning and is included in your agenda is the reappointment of Mr. Jim Simmons to the Planning Commission as a District 3 member, and that will be from the term of June 16, 2021 to June 16, 2027. And the last item, your consent agenda, is the approval of the voucher list, which you have reviewed those items.
Okay, so I just wanted to, so on Ms. Hayes,
Yeah.
not District 3, because those seats are full, you had said, I think, Ramiro, you had told me District 2. I see on the agenda District 1. I wanted to make sure that wasn't a typo because you had told me
So
District 2.
it's 2 vacancies. We have 1 vacancy in District 1 and 1 vacancy in District 2. And in fact, it's 2 vacancies on each district, District 1 and District 2. There is no vacancies on District 3. So, and that's the proposal, I guess.
Is Commissioner Mejia comfortable with that person taking one of the slots that's allotted to her?
Since you saw her application and if you were ready to proceed with it, I'm okay with it.
I would just say we have had a lot of trouble filling those seats, and on this particular committee, I wouldn't really suggest it otherwise because there's 4 seats per commissioner. But I think if there's, especially if there's more than 1, we've had that commission has not been full the entire time I've been on the board. I don't know about Commissioner Edwards, but
Yeah, and there is no any other standing applications on this.
Yeah.
So.
Then I'm okay with it.
Could I make a comment on that, sir?
yes, sir.
I also believe that Ms. Hayes was recommended by the other members of that. No, that's not true, that she wasn't recruited?
Different committee. That was the Agricultural Committee. There was a lot of
Okay, never mind.
Reappointment.
No,
Too many of them mixed up, I guess, then, huh?
One of the members, I had indication that she was encouraged to apply by one of the members of the Historic Commission who believed she'd be an excellent candidate.
Okay.
So you were right.
I guess that's what I had heard.
That's what you remember?
I
Okay.
was just kind of pointing that out to the public, that we do some, we consider our current members as well.
Yeah, you had a lot of feedback on Ms. McClure and encouraging the board to reappoint her.
There you go. Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
did that.
Nothing
Okay.
else, sir.
Just wanted to square all that away. So with all of that squared away, is the board comfortable with consent items 3A through H? And if so, I'd entertain a motion.
Oh, for the change?
No, for all the consent items.
All the
A to H.
consent items?
Yeah.
You're looking for a motion, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
If
we're all
unless
fine with
somebody wants to
change.
pull one
I
out.
understand, okay. And I would like to move to approve consent items A through H.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
No, sir.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye. Motion carries. Items 3A through 3H are approved. Okay, that takes us all the way to the bottom of page 3 of the agenda. Item 4, Human Resources, Request for Proposal for Classification, Compensation, and Recruitment Studies. We
Maria?
have Maria Ponte from HR.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Maria Ponte, your HR Director. I'll give you a little bit of the history on this classification compensation study. It was a result of the Board of County Commissioners adopting their 2019 to 2020 strategic plan. It had a number of initiatives. Initiative 18 had the stated goal of developing, hiring, retaining a quality, stable, diverse, and thriving workforce. At that time, HR was tasked with updating classifications to ensure that they reflect the work that we do today, and then conducting a commensurate compensation study with the market to determine whether we're in market, lagging, or above. While staff started that study in late 2019, and it was supposed to continue into 2020, as you know, the pandemic hit, and staff was redirected to perform, as you know, an extensive workload. So there were also changes in staffing, and we lost the project lead, which was a compensation and benefits manager. And so we just weren't able to make the progress that we needed to make. And so in light of the fact that we're still not able to get where we need to be, I'm here today to request authority to release a request for proposal to select a firm to conduct the following. There's a number of requests, and I'm giving you the highlights today. The first one is to evaluate the jurisdictions we are using today to benchmark. We get a lot of feedback about why we use the ones that we do, and they've probably been in place, who knows, 20 years. So I think it's a good time to have outside perspective on who should we be using. Take a look at our classifications, recommend updates to them just to make sure that they reflect our current job duties, essential functions, and required skills, among other things. And then based on that, conduct the compensation survey just to see how competitive we are with our external labor, and also evaluate internal fairness. So are people, our employees that are performing similar work being compensated similarly based on the complexity and breadth of the job that they do and the required knowledge and skills. We'll also be seeking recommendations for career ladders. You know, there's a strong interest to retain our employees and having some ability for them to have growth, and to see what that growth looks like here in the county would be also a valuable input. And we're also, the other thing we're asking for is take a look at our recruitment practices and give us feedback where we have strengths, where we may have gaps, because ultimately we want to increase equity and diversity in our recruitment practices and our hiring practices. And then the final report, so basically the product that I'm seeking is a report on all of these topics with recommendations for changes, what the projected cost would be of implementing these changes. And that study will serve as a basis for you to evaluate the budget impacts and to then prioritize where you want to spend that money. And so with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Commissioner Mejia, anything?
No, sir, I believe this is a topic we've discussed at length.
Commissioner Edwards?
This has been a long time coming, and for the public that might be wondering what we're doing, recruitment is a big issue, and retention is even a bigger issue when you have extensive training that goes into different employees and the service to the public that comes from that. So that's what we're attempting to do. And I have no further comments, and I'm prepared for a motion when you are, sir.
Okay. Yeah, I would just add, I agree wholeheartedly with Commissioner Edwards on this. It's always nice to pay people more money, but in public employment, that's not what you're able to do sometimes, because you're guardians of taxpayer dollars. But there's a practical element when you're investing in employees and you're training them and keep recruiting the best people, and then being able to retain them once you've trained them creates efficiencies and actually saves money down the road. And that point was made very eloquently this morning by Commissioner Edwards. So this is like, as I understood from our morning discussion, this is like, in some cases, 15, 20 years since these types of evaluations have been done. And that's not my understanding of the industry. Like, that's not best practice to wait that long to have something like this done. So I'm glad we're getting kind of up to speed and catching up with this, and hopefully some really good information will be generated as a result. I am ready for a motion.
I would move to authorize the Human Resources Director to issue a request for proposal to select a firm to conduct a classification, compensation, and recruitment practices study.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
No, sir.
I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. More to come. Have a great day.
All right. Item 5A is Public Health and Social Services, Department of Ecology, Local Solid Waste Financial Assistance Amendment Number 1.
I think Art is going to present the item.
Okay, we'll go straight to Art Starry from Environmental Health.
Good afternoon. I'm Art Starry. I'm the Environmental Health Division Director of Thurston County Public Health and Social Services, and I have two contract amendments for you from the Department of Ecology that'll help fund activities within our solid and hazardous waste programs. So the first one is something called the Local Solid Waste Financial Assistance Program, and it's a grant fund that we receive from the Department of Ecology to fund our solid waste program. We do enforcement activities, outreach, help deal with hazardous materials. We it helps us provide staffing for assisting with the solid waste plan, other activities like that. And what this is allowing us to do is to receive an additional $17,754.67 for our program that would bring our total amount or total eligible cost up to about $187,000. And so what happened is at the end of the biennium, Department of Ecology had received some additional funds or been turned back to them for this grant program, and they're offering them to us, and we'll be able to use them. We sort of anticipated this, and so we'll be able to use some of the tipping fees that we have as the required match for this. And so it's actually saves us money because we're able to, receive or spend 25% of the money it takes to actualize or use this full amount. So I think it's a good deal. It helps support our programs. And I urge you to approve this and to authorize our director to sign this as well.
Questions for Art from Commissioner Mejia?
No, sir.
Commissioner Edwards?
No, sir.
Okay, ready for a motion.
I would move to approve Amendment Number 1 to Local Solid Waste Financial Assistance Agreement 0036 between the Washington State Department of Ecology and Thurston County Public Health and Social Services to add $17,754.67 for a total eligible cost of $187,494, and authorize the Public Health and Social Services Department Director to sign the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
The only thing I might add is it's money coming in. Thank you very much.
Okay. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer.
Aye. Motion carries. And now we have 5B. Art, you kind of touched on it. Anything else to add in terms of this particular amendment?
This is just, it's a little bit different focus in that it provides grant funding to allow our staff to work with small businesses to help make sure that they're managing hazardous materials and hazardous wastes appropriately. That's been identified as a key issue in the Puget Sound region and actually across the state. And this allows us to continue work that we've been doing for a number of years using different funding sources. And so we're pleased that we're able to receive additional funding to do this important work. This is actually really neat in that it provides 100% funding. We don't even, it doesn't require match. So this is even a better deal than the last. So again, I'm asking you to approve this and authorize our director to sign it. This is adding about $22,000 to our program, and we'll be able to spend that by the end of the biennium. So that's it. Pretty straightforward, I think.
Any questions from the board on item 5B?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I would move to approve amendment number 2 to Pollution Prevention Assistance Partnership Contract number C20000031 between the Washington State Department of Ecology and the Thurston County Public Health and Social Services to add $22,022 for a total eligible cost of $196,507, and authorize the Public Health and Social Services Department Director to sign the agreement and any amendments that do not exceed 10%.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards.
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. It's 5B.
Okay, well, thank you very much. And I just want to acknowledge the work that Patrick Soderberg's done to kind of arrange to get these additional funds for us. So I want to thank Patrick as well as you for approving this.
All right, thanks, Art. Item 6A is Public Works, and it is an interlocal agreement with City of Olympia for the 2021 Thurston County Solid Waste Management Plan and Hazardous Waste Plan updates. County Manager?
Yeah, thank you, Commissioner. This is a long time coming. It is related to the solid waste management plan the board approved. And what I call is more of an alignment from all the many jurisdictions related to the objectives of the plan, as well as with the upcoming contract related to solid waste. This is from the City of Olympia, and Karen Weiss will give you the details of this particular item.
Thank you, Romero. Karen Weiss, Financial and Asset Management Division Manager for Public Works Department. Good afternoon, Commissioners. Today, the board is being asked to approve a new interlocal agreement with the City of Olympia for Thurston County Solid Waste Management Plan and Hazardous Waste Plan updates. As Romero mentioned, the background behind this is the Solid Waste Management Act and the Hazardous Waste Management Act under RCW 70A provide and require cooperative waste planning among cities and counties. And Thurston County and the cities located within our counties share responsibility for developing and maintaining a solid waste management plan to provide for continued integrated solid waste and hazardous waste management and planning and programs. The county and the city acknowledge the cooperative effort and planning agreement through interlocal agreements or ILAs. The City of Olympia has been operating under an ILA for these services and this planning dated May 24th of 2012. During 2020, an updated solid waste management plan was developed with the participation and input of our Solid Waste Advisory Committee, and it guides the actions of Thurston County, the participating cities, and the haulers that provide curbside collection and processing of solid waste and recyclable materials in our county. The 2021 Solid Waste Management Plan recommends strategies to manage solid waste generated in our county for the next 6 to 20 years, and plans for future solid waste and hazardous waste infrastructure needs due to our growing population. With the completion of this updated solid waste management plan, a new ILA is necessary for final plan adoption and ultimate approval by the Department of Ecology of our plan, and for the county to continue providing the services, the solid waste management planning and handling services. In addition, as Romero pointed out, the ILA incorporated flow control within the City of Olympia, and that aligns with the flow control ordinance that the Board of Commissioners passed in December of 2020. As a reminder, flow control is the legal basis for a government to designate where municipal solid waste is taken for processing, treatment, and control. It assures the waste that's generated in our county is handled responsibly, and it ensures the sustainable stream of solid waste and the associated revenues to allow us to fulfill our county obligations. In the coming weeks, we will be bringing forward other ILAs from the participating cities. There are 7 of them total. The City of Olympia approved the ILA that is before you in late March, and so today we are asking the board to execute that agreement. So with that, if there are any questions.
We've got 6 more to deal with, Karen.
I'll try to be bringing them in batches, but City of Olympia was the front runner on this, which we really appreciate. They're leading by example. And so, yes, you will get to hear about 6 more of these.
Okay, Commissioner Mejia,
No questions.
Commissioner Edwards.
No, sir.
Okay, me neither. Ready for a motion.
I would move to approve the interlocal agreement between the City of Olympia and Thurston County for the 2021 Thurston County Solid Waste Management Plan and Hazardous Waste Plan updates, and authorize the chair of the Board of County Commissioners to execute the agreement.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion?
I see the county manager has his hand up, sir.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Ramiro. I can't hear you.
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
So more than a comment, I know that what you see today is just an item approving the interlocal agreement, but the work behind that is a lot of work related to the solid waste management plan, a lot of work on the flow control, and a lot of work what Karen has done in reaching out to different jurisdictions to come to this point. I just want to say kudos to you, Karen. I know that you're serving on an interim, or you were serving an interim until now we have a new manager, but thank you very much. A lot of work, a lot of hard work, and I just want to make sure it doesn't go unnoticed.
Thank you, Ramiro. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Ramiro. Okay, then call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. We're on to item 7 under County Manager. 7A is to set a public hearing for Amendment 1 of the 2021 budget.
Robin?
Thank you. Robin Campbell, Assistant County Manager. I'm here this afternoon with my Budget Director hat on, requesting that the board set a public hearing for Amendment 1 of the 2021 budget. The first amendment to this year's budget is substantial, to say the least. There are a few technical items. The major one is something we do this time of year every year, and that is to adjust the beginning fund balance in every fund, dependent on the results of the fiscal year close. So for example, the fund balance in the general fund will be increased approximately $6.4 million. And in total, other funds will be adjusted upwards of $26.9 million. Aside from the technical adjustments, there is a revenue coming into the county to address COVID and other new grants, as well as requests that the board is considering for increased expenditures. Total new revenue in the general fund is $29.2 million. New expenditures being considered in the general fund, $34.4 million. In other funds, new revenue, $78.9 million, and new expenditures of $94 million. Because this adjustment is so substantial, and because you will also hear a proposal on amendment to the capital improvement plan, we are recommending that you hold a public hearing on June 22nd. That's a Tuesday at 3 o'clock. And we would like to take public comments on this proposed amendment. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Commissioner Mejia,
No questions.
Commissioner Edwards.
I guess no questions. I might comment though for the public that if they have, if they're wondering about, did we have any discussion about this, they might watch our morning meeting this morning. But we've had other discussion about it as well. Thank you.
I would also add that this, the information regarding this amendment will be published both in our newspapers, the Olympian and the Nisqually News, and it will be posted on the county's website on the budget page by next Tuesday.
And the board's consideration of the various elements of the budget amendment stretched over many meetings, multiple hour meetings. You'd have to invest quite a bit of time to catch up there, but it's all there and available to be seen if folks are interested. Okay, with that, we're gonna potentially contemplate a motion regarding the public hearing component.
I would move to set a public hearing for Tuesday, June 22nd, 2021, at 3 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the matter may be heard, at the Thurston County Courthouse, Building 1, Room 280, to receive public comments on the proposed budget amendment 1 of the 2021 operating and capital budgets.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. I'll call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards,
Aye.
Commissioner Menzer,
Aye. Motion carries. We'll have that hearing June 22nd. Thank you, Robin. Item 7B is Commissioner's Report on Board Work Sessions, Committee Assignments, Community Events, anything at all, really. Commissioner Mejia, you're first.
Since we're not having a commissioner's check-in this Thursday, I will report on a couple of items. Last week, along with Jenica Machado, I attended a Tenino Chambers event where we presented on several matters. I unfortunately was not able to attend in person. I attended via Zoom, but I look forward to the next time, hopefully being able to attend in person. I also attended the study meeting, and we kind of gave a run on that. And yesterday was a Partners in Action team meeting, and we invited other organizations to kind of be a part of the conversation when it comes to different topics in relation to families and parents and coping with COVID right now. So that is, we have an RHC meeting this week, so, and that will be tomorrow if anyone's interested in attending that.
And RHC stands for?
The Regional Housing Council. I apologize. I'm used to all the acronyms.
All the acronyms already.
Yes.
Commissioner Edwards.
Yes, Mike, like for committee assignments, Nisqually River Council meeting, this is all basically last week. Steady, Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services / Olympic Health Recovery Services. If you can come up with an acronym, that'll be interesting. The Fire Commissioners meeting and the EMS Council. And really the only thing I really have to report on at this point that would be of interest to all parties would be the concern that the EMS Council has about not enough hospital beds relative, not necessarily relative to the COVID, but just in general. And the ambulances are delayed once in a while, having to do with this. And our emergency management director, Kurt Harding, will be bringing some additional information forward after he's had consultation with our 2 hospitals in the region. So other than that, that's it.
All right, great. Well, we've got a public hearing slated in just another minute or so. I'll just say that the Climate Steering Committee meeting was yesterday, and the board will need to readdress our, there was a presentation on the energy efficiency program that was considered by this board last year, and at a Thursday or Tuesday morning, whenever we have chance, we should revisit that, catch Commissioner Mejia up, and sort of give direction on how and if and under what conditions we would release the funding for that based on the current situation, but we'll go into that later. That's all I'll report on for now, and we'll go to the county manager, item 7C. schedule.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let me walk you through your combined schedule for the next 2 weeks, since the Board of County Commissioners meeting for June 1st, next Tuesday, has been canceled. Tuesday, here in a couple minutes, you will have a public hearing where you will be receiving public testimony related to a potential renewal of the interim emergency housing ordinance. Wednesday, May 26th, 2 in the afternoon, you have a briefing related to the next noxious weed control board. And 3 in the afternoon, you have a briefing related to the comprehensive emergency management plan. The meetings on Thursday, May 27th has been canceled. Then on Friday, May 28th, you have been invited to participate on a going away party, a retirement party for Michael Crow. That was one of our project managers from facilities who is retiring. We will be missing him for sure. Monday, May 31st, the courthouse is closed in observance of the Memorial Day holiday. Tuesday, June 1st, you will have your agenda setting in the morning where you will be reviewing the agenda for June 8th, as well as the Board of Health agenda. The Board of County Commissioners, again, for the 2 of the afternoon has been canceled. Wednesday, June 2nd, you have the opportunity to welcome new county employees to Thurston County government employment. You have a work session in the afternoon, and we'll define the agenda for that in the upcoming days. June 3rd, Thursday, you have a briefing related to the capital improvements program, a minor amendment. Then you have your regular commissioners check-in at 10 in the morning. And at 1 in the afternoon, you have your monthly Superior Court update. And you have reserved some time for work sessions from 2 to 4 on Thursday, June 3rd. On Friday, June 4th, you have been invited to participate on the grand opening of the Heritage Distilling Company that will be located on 4200 Capitol Boulevard Street in Tumwater. Nothing on your combined schedule on June 7th, and you will convene again on Tuesday, June 8th for your regular agenda setting at 9 in the morning. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ramiro. And looks like that takes us to an adjournment. So it's 3:02. We'll adjourn. We'll be back in about 5 minutes on a different recording for the public hearing on the emergency housing ordinance.
Yes, thank you, sir.
We're adjourned.